All right, so from business, it's now time for us to mind our language here on Friday Briefing and mind our pronunciations. Let me bring in Willice, the word master. Willice, has been a crazy show here on Friday Briefing. Great to see you. Please bring some sanity in the studio. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks, Betty. It has also been a very, very busy, time for you, or period for you, the primaries and all that. And you've done very well, that I can tell you for a fact. That is, from upcountry, people feel, of course, they are getting the whole story, and that is why they feel it's better to be told, welcome home.
Okay, thank you very much, Willice, for that, and it's great to see you.
Yes.
All right, so let's get straight into it and go to the streets to see what Kenyans had to say this time round.
Estate. Estate.
Estate. Estate. Estate.
Estate. Estate. Estate.
Estate. Estate.
Estate. Estate. Estate. Estate.
All right, Willice, talk to us about this word. I'll spell it out. A-E-S-T-H-E-T-E.
Betty, in the first place, this word refers to a person who, has a love and understanding for art and beautiful things. And it has two acceptable pronunciations, which are alternatives. You can say estate, estate.
Wow.
You can also say estate.
Okay.
So estate and estate are acceptable as alternatives, Betty.
All right, Willice, what about, do we say aesthetic, aesthetic, to mean something that looks good?
Aesthetic.
Wow.
Aesthetic. You say aesthetic. And Betty, if you can allow me, now that you've asked me about that, somebody was very keen on the word alias. Alias Wanogu, not alias. You say alias. Then we say to liaise with somebody when you are doing something, not to liars, as commonly said locally. Then we say in liaison. Liaison or liaison, not in liaison. So what we hear commonly is alias, lias, and liaison, which are inaccurate. So we should say alias, liaise, and liaison.
Liaison. Got it, Willice. Got it. Liaison. All right. Moving on, and aesthetic.
Liaison.
And that's a surprise, Willice. Aesthetic. Huh?
Aesthetic. Aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
No, you know what, Betty? Like the word on the street, you may find somebody talking of aesthete or aesthete or, from what we see. But as we always say, certain words are very tricky, and that is for anybody and everybody, Betty.
Okay, Willice, thank you for that. Let's continue, and I'll spell the next word, B-E-A-C-O-N, beacon, beacon. How do you say that one, Willice?
No, you say beacon, beacon of hope, not beacon. When you talk of beacon, that one is B-E-C-K-O-N, to beacon. To beacon. To beacon. So we don't say beacon for the word in question or for our word. That is beacon, B-E-A-C-O-N.
All right. Noted, Willice, noted. All right, so let's continue. But then, Willice, wait a minute. So this beacon, it starts with B-E-A. Does it mean that all the words which start with B-E-A have the same pronunciation? Is that correct?
Betty, when you study the English phonology, you'll realize that there is what we call irregularity of spelling and pronunciation. Just like one time I told you, when you come to grammar, you'll talk of good, better, best, but not good, gooder, goodest. But you'll talk of tall, taller, tallest. So you realize in grammar we have those irregularities. You come to pronunciation, you'll find words like now we talk of beacon, where E and A combine to form one sound called, that is, we call it a digraph.
Yeah.
When two letters combine to represent one sound.
One word.
But in certain words, for instance, we have bread, bread. You have B-R-E-A, but you don't say breed. You say bread.
Okay.
So in that case, A is silent. So not all words.
Not all
We have
words,
to be
Willice.
very careful when we deal with English words.
All right, Willice, we'll be very careful. Moving on to the next one. And this one, people you hear saying penultimate, penultimate. How is that pronounced, Willice?
It's penultimate.
Okay.
Penultimate. What we should avoid is penultimate. Mate sounds, unique, but
Yeah.
the accurate, terminal part of that word is met.
Met.
Just like certificate, not certificate. When you say Kate, you may feel, well, that is unique.
Yeah.
But just certificate,
Certificate.
penultimate or penultimate.
All right. All right, Willice. Moving on. Let me spell this next
Yes.
word for you. Chautinist. Chauvinist. Chauvinist. You hear chauffeur. What is
Yes,
that word?
what we should avoid is chauvinist, no. You say chauvinist. Chauvinist.
Chauvinist.
Chauvinism. Just like a chauffeur, not a chauffeur, not a chauffeur.
Okay.
Chauffeur.
Yeah.
Chauvinist.
Chauvinist.
Yes.
All right, Willice. Chef and not chef. Not chief chef. Yeah?
Yes. No. Chief chef, no. You say chief chef.
Chief
a chef, not a
chief-
chef.
Chief chef. Chief chef. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the
Yes,
next one.
but-
That's it's a hard one. It's like she sells seashells on this seashore. Okay, let me not even try that, Willice. Let's continue. Then I'll spell this
That is
one.
a tongue twister, Betty.
Tongue twister, that's the word I was looking for. So, Tigrees, tigress.
Oh,
Huh?
you say tigress, a tigress,
Okay.
not a tigeress. We have a tiger, that is the male one, but the female, we talk of tigress, a tigress.
Oh, okay. I thought it was tigress, so
Yes.
I've learned something already.
No, tigress. That is Tigrees.
All right, Willice. Continuing. Coventry, is that the correct pronunciation for this word? Because that's the common pronunciation.
Yes, you say Coventry with a weak one, Coventry, but you can also say Coventry, though Coventry is a bit, rare locally, but you can say co or cur. Remember, Betty, we say covenant, a covenant, with what we call the mid-central vowel sound, cur,
Mid-central.
covenant,
Okay.
covet, covet, not covet, covet,
Okay.
yes.
All right, Willice. Moving on, and let me ask you something off the list that I have. And speaking of all those ones, do you say caveat? That's C-A-V-E-A-T.
Or you say caveat, caveat, or
caveat.
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 Not caveat. Caveat, no. Caveat.
All right.
Caveat.
Caveat.
Yes, that is normally used, a word I think used in law, if I'm not wrong.
All right. Moving on to another word, autumn, autumn. Is that the correct pronunciation? Autumn.
Autumn, yes, that way, autumn.
Okay.
O. That A and U at the beginning
Yeah.
form the long sound O, just like in August.
Okay.
Autumn. Autism. Yes.
All right. Moving on to another word, Willice.
Yes.
We have where. Do you say whereas or whereas? That R. Do you announce it or do you avoid it?
Betty, that is normally a tricky one. It's
Very
tricky, but what you say, you have two ways of saying that word. You can say whereas, where with a weak, that kind of glide, whereas, or whereas. Whereas, or you can also say whereas. Whereas. So please, it's tricky. Most people say, no, don't say whereas. That is not the case. So that where or where, then ras.
Wait, where or where? Oh, so whereas or whereas? Where and
Or where,
wo.
whereas. So you can say where, then say ras.
Okay.
Or where, ras. Whereas.
Whereas. Okay, got it. Moving
Yes.
on, we listed the other one. And this is a feedback question from Thomas, is that correct? Thomas or Thomas Kemboi? I was a bit, hesitant
don't say
about...
Thomas. If you say Thomas, you're like somebody saying Esther. It's Esther, Thomas, not Thomas.
Okay, Willis.
That must be Thomas Kemboi of Kericho?
Yes. There's this word that he had, patriarchy. Is that the correct pronunciation for the word he's asking?
Oh, patriarchy. Letter A takes the sounding A, patriarchy.
Patriarchy.
Like matriarchy.
Uh-huh.
Patriarchy, yes.
Patriarchy, so I was already wrong
there. And you say matriarchy, Betty.
All right.
Okay, no, it happens, Betty. I've always said that nobody is perfect when it comes to a language like English or any other language. You can't know everything, Betty. Not even Willice can talk about being perfect.
Okay.
But Betty, that being the case, we've just had the primaries. And as I told you, so many people sending in questions about the words that are commonly used, during that time, either in reporting or, when we have, the leaders themselves talking.
Yeah.
So we have register, not register, not register. You say register.
Register.
You also say list, the list, not the least. Least is L-E-A-S-T or L-E-A-S-E-D.
Okay.
But we say list. That is
list.
Or that is for the word L-I-S-T. Requisite, not requisite. Requisite, not requisite. Then aspirant or aspirant. Those are alternatives for that word. Both are accepted, as standard pronunciations. Determine, yes, you can say aspirant or aspirant.
Okay.
Then you say determine, not determine. Determine. It will be determined, not determined. Mine, no. Then gubernatorial. Gubernatorial, not gubernatorial. Senatorial, not senatorial. Yes, gubernatorial, not gubernatorial. Okay. Then you say pundits, political pundits, not pundits. Then Edgar Marumbu of Kisii University, you say alma mater, alma mater. Paul Washiuri, yes, of Laikipia County, you say cerebellum, or you can say cerebellum. Charity Mora of Nyamira County, you say marabu. Then Betty, we have one Roger Habimana of Kibungo, Rwanda.
Whoa.
I think we should tell him salute. We salute you, our dear brother, for loving Friday briefing. So Kibungo, Rwanda, and all our brothers and sisters in Rwanda, we say welcome always. Angeline of Nyangoma. Angeline and your team, we also love you so much. Then Mahmoud Ahmed of Nairobi. Whoa. Betty, this is a tricky one. There is a word, and I think I've seen it so much on the internet.
Which one
there is a
that?
surgery. Pronouncing it is very difficult, and I think it's my cameraman, Nicholas, or Nicole, as I call him, Mburu, just flashing it. And you say maxillofacial surgery.
Okay.
Maxillofacial surgery, a very tricky word, and I've seen it, on the internet a lot.
All right,
so thank you so much, Mburu, for that. Then Audrey Philistas, maxillofacial, a mouthful there, Betty, but we have to get it right sometimes when we're pronouncing words. So Audrey Philistas, you say woe or woes. Audrey Philistas, we say woe, and thank you so much, Audrey, for that. Then Eric Cheruyot, bureau, not biru. Aduda, the plural of alumnus is alumni. The alumni, not alumni, not alumni.
Okay.
You say alumni, and that is in English. Then Momanyo Yugi, recipe, not recipe. Vidija Dalizu Mwalimu, you say eland. And then Emily Ogechi, you say chew and nausea. But you can also say nausea. That is also acceptable.
Oh.
So chew, not chew. So Emily Ogechi, you say chew and nausea or nausea. Those are acceptable. Betty, we can go to our penultimate stage. That is the second last part of it.
Before that, Willice.
A very tricky word, Betty. Okay.
Yes, before that, Willice, do you say multimedia? How is that pronounced, Willice?
No. Betty, you've brought something that can be a very big debate. That is, if somebody is not understanding the sound value of letter U in that prefix or the combining form multi. Many people talk of multi, multi, and all that. You better say multimedia.
Okay.
Multi-purpose. Multimedia. Just like we talk of cult, not cult. C-U-L-T, cult.
Yeah.
Cult. Result. Consult.
Okay.
Insult. Yes. So that letter U takes the sound just like in the word cut. C-U-T, to cut something. So Betty, multimedia. I hope you've got it right.
I've gotten it loud and clear. Moving on to
Fine,
your surprise word.
Betty. Now, tell me, Betty.
Whoa.
We have a word here. And this word is very common sometimes, especially among political leaders and other public speakers. But one thing, this word, Betty, to begin with, it's not about a person. We don't say so-and-so is a she or shenanigan. No. This is talking about what we call dishonest or secret activities which people find, interesting or amusing when we talk of matters of, roguishness, mischief, treachery, or deception. We talk of she-nanigans, not shenanigans.
Okay.
You say shenanigans, not shenanigans. But what we should remember is it refers to the secret or dishonest or what we may call treacherous kind of activities or deception that people find, amusing in a way.
Okay.
Then finally, Betty, we have the confusing words. The first one, or the upper one, is launch. Yes, you can try the lower one, or you can start from up, Betty. We always say we love learning, especially when it comes to Betty and Willice. Can you try it, my dear sister?
Yes, of course. Let me try it, Willice. Let me try it. I'm not embarrassed to not get it right. So the first one is launch. And then the second one is
Yes,
lounge.
launch.
Yeah?
No, the second one. Betty,
My
the first
guest
one
anchors
or
are
the
even
upper
laughing at
one,
me.
you say launch.
Launch.
That is L-A-U-N-C-H.
Yeah.
Launch. To launch
A
as
project.
scathing attack
Okay.
on a rival or an opponent.
Okay.
Launch. But you can also launch an event.
Okay.
But Betty, when we come to the lower word, we always hear of launch locally. But launch, imagine, is not the right pronunciation of that word. Betty, you say now low. You use what we call the diphthong, the dual vowel glide, ow, low, lounge. To lounge, a lounge. That is a noun, a lounge.
All right.
Yes, lounge.
Lounge.
So, just like when you are going to say the word loud, you say lounge. So, O and U, you pronounce them as ow, lounge. The upper one, launch. But as you put it right, Betty, you are never embarrassed when you get it wrong. Because getting it wrong makes you get it right later if you are keen on learning. And nobody is perfect, as I always say it.
All right, Willice. I like that. And you said embarrassed. It's not, we don't say embarrassed. It's embarrassed.
Embarrassed, Betty. Betty, we should always, that is why I say some knowledge, and that is definite knowledge of the English phonology, just like Kiswahili phonology, the sound or the speech sounds in English. Like now, you say embarrassed, embarrassment, embezzle, not embezzle, not embarrass, not embark. You say embark. So you articulate, you pronounce then come in with the primary stress, bark, embark, embarrass, embezzle. And once you understand such kind of, sound system, English becomes, in fact, sweet.
English becomes sweet. Thank
Not
you.
sweet to the taste of the tongue, but sweet
to the ear.
in quotes.
Okay, Willice, thank you very much. Willice, the word
Yes,
master.
sweet to
there.
the ear if you love it.
Yeah, well, yes, for sure. Thank you very much, Willice,
Yes.
for that. I've learned something, actually very many new things tonight. Embarrassed, not embarrassed, yeah? Thank you
Yes,
so much, Willice, for that.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed. All right, Willice. Willice, the word master, is always on Friday Briefing, but you can also link up with him on Twitter, not Twitter, and you can talk to him there on that platform. At Willice Ochieng1 is his Twitter handle on Twitter, not Twitter. All right, Willice, thank you very much for tonight's lesson. See you
Twitter.
again next week, God willing. And have a great weekend, Willice. You've already done good work, so you can enjoy yourself then.
Always my pleasure, Betty.
All right. All right, Willice, the word master there with mind your language and mind your pronunciations. All right, so we'll take a break and we'll be coming back shortly with sports news. Don't go away, we'll be right back.